Another day, another India trip, and another ride. This time much closer to home. Just riding to a campsite with adventure lovers, and the plan is just camp overnight and return tomorrow at some point. I think I'm the last to arrive. Everybody else, Amaya and family, I think they arrived yesterday, and not sure. I think Ankit as well, Ankit and family, and then today it is Salman and family and Mayur, and of course me. And yeah, I'm back on Kali. I think I got Kali back on mechanic like a couple of days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and Kali's had a massive makeover, engine overhaul. So um, still being running at the moment. Another 350 kilometers of running in to go, and it was a massive story. But basically, I didn't realize on my previous trip, and actually none of the mechanics also realized how bad shape Kali's engine was in. So basically, there was the timing chain tensioner had broken within the crankcase, and the timing chain was obviously not under tension, so it had probably skipped a gear, and the valve was bent. Both the valves were bent slightly, so they couldn't be fixed. They had to be replaced, obviously. Uh, the it was probably the valve issue that caused wear on the piston and the engine head. So the engine block had to be rebored. So it's been slightly upsized. I'm not sure exactly how many cc, but my mechanic said I could assume it's about 240 cc now. So Kali's got a bit of an upgrade. Although I don't know whether it's an upgrade, but yeah, more cc. New piston, connecting rod still the same. But then I think after the piston work was done, the bike still wasn't running great. So, oh wow, there's a water leak. The bike still wasn't running great. So, new carb, and I was very unhappy with the electricals to begin with. So, I insisted on new wiring. So, I got completely new wiring. And what else? Yeah, the chassis had to be welded a bit. It was rusting quite badly, actually. Um, it felt towards the end of the last ride that the chassis had actually bent a bit. So yeah, that was visibly rusted, so I had to get that done. And then of course Sheridan Cherry Auto, so he also painted everything after the welding. So the engine's got a fresh lick of paint, chassis been painted. Uh, yeah, basically, I don't know what else have I done. Um, oh yeah, the dash is functioning again because I just bit the bullet, in for a penny, in for a pound. Took it to Guy Mallard who services meters. He's got most of it working. He's got the speedo and tacho working. So it turned out the chip inside the dash had gone. So we replaced the chip. That was didn't took him about a day maybe to get it working. And annoyingly, he didn't do a complete job. Like I guess maybe I don't know whether it's maybe the inputs that's problematic, but the fuel gauge doesn't work, and the clock and the trip meter reset every time I turn the ignition off and on. So yeah, it's more like a single journey meter. and yeah, no clock. So, well, at least I know how long it's been since I last started the bike. So, as you can see right now, 11 minutes. And yeah, Kali's Odo is counting again. So, after missing at least 5,000 kilometers, sticking again. So, there was 146k on the Odo few kilometers ago. And yeah, Kali is riding well. There were a few niggling sort of initial issues which have all been sorted out. There's still some minor sort of niggles, which is basically after the whole meter was the guy who fitted it back did a very quick job because it was late at night and he was waiting to close the shop. So the meter, I mean, I can see my number plate is vibrating. I can hear the vibes from the front. It wasn't that way when I left, of course, but it's worked its way loose. So hopefully everything holds. And yeah, so it's left at like I think noon. That's pretty late. These are my plans, but as usual, I decided I'm not gonna ride by the clock. I'm gonna have a relaxed start, had brunch to put anything, and then did like random bits that I had to solve. Loaded everything on the bike, which again took a while because I had to tie up the tent and the backpack to the seat. I didn't want to carry the saddlebag because it wasn't much to carry. Put in the saddlebags. Honestly, I could have probably squeezed it into the tank bag, but yeah, I was just wanted to ride comfortably. Although the backpack strapped to the back seat, the pigeon seat, wasn't comfortable. It wasn't as comfortable as I hoped it would be. It made getting on and getting off a bit of a hassle. But yeah, I didn't want to wear it. So I started off packing the light stuff thinking I'll wear it. But then yeah, I decided to strap it instead. So yeah, it's been a very relaxing ride. Like forcing to stay below 60 on like open highways just is very almost zen, you could say. Paragliding, staying out of everyone's way, just chilling, taking our time. I took quite a few breaks, so like just to relax. Didn't really need them, but it was quite hot. And I did have an offer from Salman to park the bike at your friend's hotel and put in the car, but I really wanted to ride. And the highway was good for, I would say, about 70% of the way. The last 30% was like, not 30% actually, maybe 20% was partly good, partly patchy roads. So you can't really sort of take your eyes off the road. You have to be ready to brake at thought notice. And just before I started recording, I actually turned off the national highway. So Google said that the detour would cut like 17 minutes of my ride. It's a doubt because I'm doing like 30 on this road, and this is the better side, so there was much worse. Which before I started recording, and it's single pack obviously, so you have to be very cautious. It's also quite steep, as you can see. But hey, getting it easy, enjoying the ride. It's a brilliant sun and rearview mirrors. Oh yeah, new rearview mirrors as well. It's amazing that those old ones lasted like 14 years and whatever. 160,000 kilometers riding of wind blast, and one of them was still kind of usable. If like you would stay in place for maybe 5 minutes at a time, maybe that actually. But yeah, I mean there was a small bit. like to make a massive difference to your riding experience. So, yeah, all said and done, quite a nice sort of. Right, so I apparently cut off 18 kilometers from my ride. Actually, CDT and Spirit Road. Now back on the national byway. And straight into the sun, so I don't know how much video we'll get, how much usable video we'll get. But we're almost at our destination, I think. Over 21 minutes, so not over. But we're about to use this time. Wow, the island. So Google said I would save 17 minutes, but based on my ETA on Google Maps, I had saved literally 3 minutes by going off the national highway and under the Parade Road. Well, I mean, maybe 5 minutes for setting up the camera and whatnot. So, all for a good cause. But yeah, this is how the national highway was, the Bishop Pope. Good in parts and suddenly very badly purposed. But yeah, it was not too bad for the people up, I would say. This little road is really quiet. I don't know whether it's because all the tourists have gotten to wherever they wanted to, or whether just off the beaten path. I mean, it's still NH 160A according to Google Maps, but I don't see any signs in here. It's interesting because I actually never saw any sign for the highway number anywhere on the way. Oh, and minor complaint. After I got my tank bags fixed yesterday, other magnets just popped out. So I'm running on 7 magnets and say it is not great. Thankfully, my tank bag not overloaded there. Everything's showing there, showing its life. I mean, this tank bag, it served me well for like what? 12 years and well over 100,000 kilometers. So, and it only costed me like 2,000 rupees. So a very good deal. But yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of money on the bike, so I think the current conclusion is, given how much I've spent, it makes sense to keep the bike going. Earlier, the talk with my old mechanic, Sodu. So, yeah, another long story why he's no longer my mechanic. But, yeah, but like the past thing with him was, he said he had another Charisma, which is of similar age. Yeah, so similar age, but much better condition. Probably not very much. And he was going to book me up to someone who was going to sell it to me. And then get that one to its passing whenever the time came. But I am no longer going to deal with Chotu, the mechanic. So that's not an option anymore. But yeah, so now that I've done so much of work on this, and by the way, if I tally up the bill, I think it comes to it's definitely over 20,000. I haven't added like all the missed bits. Sherry's bill came to 13,000, and then I paid separately for the carburetor over 5,500. And then the meter was like 13 something, 1,300. Yeah, and obviously mirrors. Oh yeah, tank lid. There's a new lid on the tank. So yeah, another small sort of niggle out of the way. rear old tank lid, the rubber was rotting. Like it had really aged and it was like flaking off. So it left outside of the rain until rainwater was getting in from there. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, it's already been covered, but I'm hoping that problem is no longer there. And also that old tank lid, I mean, I don't think it was the original tank. Actually, yeah, it was already a replacement tank lid, but it's probably a 4 quality replacement. But the tank lid, like the lock cover, had broken. I don't know how. How did one break a lock cover? People metal. Anyway, that was broken. Uh, the tank locking mechanism was very dodgy, and they were just surviving on oil and WD-40 and a lot of coaxing. So yeah, that's not good. So yeah, I mean, back to the bill. I think definitely over 20,000, maybe 22. I don't know, but either way, I'd say better than buying a new bike for sure. Better than dealing with photos for sure. Uh, Better than dealing with a bike of unknown districts. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of pushed down this route because once Harry opened the bike, he told me about the engine, and that was it. Like, once you have the engine open, it's like you either fix it or you stop the bike. So, and we are now inside of Vaitarna Lake. I think it's Vaitarna Lake. But I was told we are camping beside of Vaitarna Lake and this freaking day. So. Right, you spot this. And the right sooner. 15 minutes itself. So yeah, I mean, once the bike was open, like I was assuming it was just electrical, but once it was the valve and whatever, there was like, yeah, it's gonna be a big job. I wasn't ready to stop the bike just yet. Wasn't ready to splash out on a new bike. They could spend most of its life sat on parking lot. So yeah, and a story that would say is the problem that I was having on the Kodai ride, that the battery would randomly not charge, and then the electric could drain the battery, then all sorts of issues would happen, and I couldn't use the lights and the horn, I mean, everything. That actually happened on the ride, like from Sherry Auto. I just did like a 5-minute ride around the area just to test ride the bike, and the problem actually recurred, and he just opened it and reseated the connections, and now it's fine. That would have been super annoying if that was the problem, and Soto was just messing around. None of the other mechanics even got to that point, because I remember like they took off the seat, the grab bars to get to it, and I don't remember any of the local mechanics picking up the grab bars. So yeah, that would have been annoying. Like, I mean, but then on the other hand, if it wasn't for that, I would have just been riding this bike oblivious to who was going on site, and probably had a cataptric end in the area. Just catch me off guard. And if that had to happen, I am pretty sure that would have been the end of Kali. So, in a way, that electrical non-issue saved Kali's existence. And now that I've spent so much, and I'm going to do the passing next year when the time comes, like, little under a year, I could. It means that Kali is going to stay on the road. Fingers crossed, and hoping for the best for at least 5 years. So yeah, things find their way of working out. So right, and then for my little sob story of why I'm no longer going to Soto, it's basically exactly that. The electrical problems. That was such a simple fix, like literally 5 minutes. While I had a cup of tea, Terry pitched them, and also not noticing that the valve not panning at all. So the misfire, Toto said it because the battery is not charging. The battery is charging slowly, and that's causing a misfire. Well, it's actually the valve was off, the timing was off. That's quite an elementary thing. So hats off to Sherry for spotting it. That's the mark of a good mechanic, I would say. And so too, unfortunately, has failed to make the grade despite years of experience. And yeah, I'm not the only unsatisfied customer, but you know what? He did his best in terms of customer service, but you can't compensate for being a bad mechanic with good customer service. And you know, other people who said that he's doing a bad job because he's delegating his work to his guys who are not that competent. But in my case, no, I can say with absolute certainty that that was not it. He was checking the bike himself, and the secretary in front of me, and I have observed the misfire, and he refused to accept it. That is really bad. But then, that is downright incompetent. So yeah, that's enough of Soto. Unfortunately, that means no pickup and bike pickup from home, no courtesy bike, no. Uh, and Sherry is like a good hours ride away on a bad day. The metro takes me like halfway there, but the other half is a super annoying journey. So yeah, I mean, all said and done, you need a mechanic. You don't need a customer service. So, guy, interesting. The road on the right looks to be in better condition than the highway that I'm on. And it's not even marked. First goats spotted on the right. So yeah, that's the story. And yeah, this India trip is almost over. So yeah, unfortunately for Sherry, he took a lot longer than he initially said he would. Like I gave the bike to him 3 days or 2 days before I flew back to the UK in November. And he reassured me that the bike would be done before I was back on December 24th. But yeah, apparently his boys went on leave, and he had to shut shop because he had nobody to actually work on the bikes. And then she said that once the guys came back, mine was the first bike that he started work on. So good for him, I can't attempt. But unfortunately, I got the bike like, 2 weeks after I landed. And that's not a good time to get your bike when you're down for just 4 weeks. And not even 4 weeks, it's slightly less than 4 weeks. And on top of that, like, seriously, I do call me. I have to ignore that. Yeah, the last week I'm going to be working. So it's not even like all of 4 weeks. It's like I literally got the bike in the middle of my last actual vacation. So all I did was literally one ride to Santa Cruz, one ride to Cherney Road, one ride to Malad to get the meter fixed. Actually, wait, the Malad was, yeah, one ride to Malad. And that was it. Like, that's all the riding I got to do. And then after this weekend's done, I'm going to be working. So maybe a bit of riding, I don't think so actually, because weekdays are terrible. I have had my share of Mumbai traffic. They're just good. This was the first time in a long time that I've actually ridden the bike out of Borivali. And oh, that was a reminder of what hell I've been missing. Like, really bad traffic. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it used to be fair, because I think maybe the metros have made a difference. Because, like, riding in Rasta, it was still an hour and a half from Borivali to Cherney Road. In the peak of Rasta, like leaving from Borivali at like 7:30 to reach Cherney Road at 9. This was still bearable, you can say. So, but yeah, it's not something I fancy doing. I don't think Kali likes it either. Like, you know, you need to show her age. No matter how much you service a bike, some things just never are the same. Yeah, that is quite bad. That's it. Okay. So yeah, this tomorrow, just hoping everything's fine. Uh, I might ask the local mechanic, not Proto, but another guy who I went to in my previous trip, who'd been recommended by Tony to kind of reseat the meter and the headlight and the turn signal and whatnot, and just kind of, gosh, would be very right. I should have just taken the PDF plan. Boom. Yeah, this is to be expected. The last mile therapy. Or you look like an alien. You should get people in cars, but obviously our camping group. But maybe not so neat also. You can see they're curious sellers. Yeah, that's delayed. That's probably where see I'm going here. Yeah. I'm not really the one. Very nail this on the other. And I have the bad habit of clutching when I should be in engine control. And then once you clutch, you can't really let go because you want to kick your batteries out or other have it goes into traction, golden goose traction. So yeah, need to remind myself not to do that again. But oh, I can see the dents. I don't know if they can hear me. Turn my headlight on so that they might even echo their doing. This is where that 8 magnet on the tank bag comes handy. Really helps prevent bouncing around. And of course, my tank bag is extremely damaged because it's not that full, but it's got a few bike kitchen. It's like basically the water bottle, 2 water bottles. Let's go. And dietable. Yes, I've been done. Sweet something like that bird. Okay. Yeah, outdoor 5. Janky number plate when there is. But almost there. So straight ahead. Fuck, there is a circle. A good thing the camera is attached to the helmet and not the handbag eventually planned. They cancel the this side. Yeah, you get a nice 360 of Farley in the process. You get listeners to skip because they're always seated in their car. Oh, yes. Good.
Destination.
Yes, him in the very Oh wow, it's like an actual altitude. Tanka. Something second logo. Kapag ito sumber, ski. As I said, leave no trace. Then the good thing if we have network, say, or actually gone there and there, he second call come. I hope I'm being able to understand all of this. If we are clearly doing that. Whereas I stay, have a meat sampling spot as well. New to me at least. I don't know how often the Paris done it. We actually came fairly close to one of the old camping spots. Forgot the name of the lyric, but the last time we went there. I don't think Shruti and I were married yet at that point. And then we went another time. Yes, you have arrived. Not quite, but it's not obviously. It's how do we get there? Well, I have the dental now. We'll soon find my way there. Oh, I vaguely heard a nicer straight, but straight. And we open. boss. Anything you want to say for YouTube?
YouTube. Okay. Hey.
So we made it. Guys,
YouTube is on.
anything you want to say for YouTube? Closing comments?
Good to have you after a long time. Good.
Hello,
Hello.
Christopher.
Yes.
We'll talk
My
about
tent is already pitched. What a welcome.
My आज अच्छा है ये इसका तो तुम लोग का है उसका टेंट गाड़ी
Acha. It looks the same, but
You can have it.
exchange offer.
Christopher.
Hello,
How are
hi.
you?
All good.
My son.
You're on YouTube. I mean, you will be on YouTube, so say whatever you want. Any closing comments?
Welcome. Welcome.
So, yeah, the end of a good ride.
Making it alive.
Yes, of course. So far, have
No,
every
we are alive.
that's how every ride has ended so far. So, all right. So, yeah,
I think we after 10 years, 12 years. 10.
can't be.
Yeah?
Can't be.
Maybe
I've not been married for 10 years. Yeah,
I don't know because maybe just 7 years, 8 years.
can't be. We